Hey, that looks pretty impressive. I really like that. Hey guys, welcome back to JR Pro Shot Vids. Today we got a urethane and not urethane showdown. We're on a short pattern, it's 36 feet. Let's see the differences between some of the more popular urethane balls and the new not urethane balls. So let's start with the real staple in the line, that's the purple hammer. Now for today, I'm throwing a 16-pound purple hammer. We'll talk about why a little bit later. But I pushed a lot of oil down in this pattern, it should be okay now. That should make it. Ooh, okay. Now as you can see with that purple hammer, it's a very early rolling ball and doesn't really jump off the spot. It really rounds it out. And that's characteristic of urethane. Almost every urethane ball is going to be quite like that. Let's try and get the 7 out this time. That's better. Whew, a little jumpy. Let's try one more. So you might be wondering why 16 pounds instead of 15. If you look at the core dynamics of the 16s, it has 30 diff versus the 15 pound only has 15 diff. So that's twice the hook potential. You'll see a lot of pros actually will go back and forth between a 15 and a 16, depending on how much hook they want to create. And this one's hooking a lot. That should make it. There we go. Okay, so about what I expect out of that ball. Fairly early rolling, fairly predictable in what it does. It does have its limitations, especially when you want to move in towards the center of the lane and really open up the pattern. That's where a ball like a blue hammer comes in. So this new blue came out at the end of last year. It is PBA compliant. There were some changes and that led to the development of this ball. So a not urethane cover stock, but the same core design and similar core numbers to the purple hammer. Now in that shot I had to move a couple right because I know that ball is going to pick up a little bit harder in the mid lane and change direction a little bit more. Now I don't see this one as a replacement piece for a purple hammer. They both serve a purpose, they're a little bit different. I think they play off each other really well. Let's try one more really good one. Slid a little too much. Now I got that one a little bit in, missed a little bit into the middle of the lane where there's a little more oil. Not urethane cover stock tends to get through the oil a little bit easier and store a little bit more energy for the end of the lane. But I'm not content with that shot, so I want to get this one a little further left. So let's do that. Like that. Hey, struggle a little bit there. There's one more good one in me. Might be a little too firm. Try and get around it more and let it finish a little bit harder. That's pretty close. Wow, I thought that was gonna hook. That's it. Oh. So as you can see, I've thrown a lot of shots on top of each other with very low flaring balls. And what that tends to do is really stretch out the length of that pattern. So a ball that was maybe hooking a little too hard on the back end is now not finishing nearly as hard. It's getting a little bit lazy. Let's make a ball change to the Rattler NU. So as far as I know, it's the same cover stock as the blue. The core from the original Rattler is a 3-piece ball versus the blue hammer is a 2-piece ball. Talk about the differences in that after this shot. Let me play on top of where I was and see if this picks up a hair earlier. Yeah, you can see on that one, I did get a little bit further left. That picked up probably 2 or 3 feet sooner and had a harder change of direction too. So when we talk about 2-piece and 3-piece construction, 2-piece balls are just the inner core and a really thick cover stock. So these balls tend to have a higher RG. They can have high differential, but it does vary depending on the ball. But typically they're gonna take a longer time for that core to get into a roll. More of the weight of the ball is focused on the outside portion of it. 3-piece ball has an inner core, an outer core, and a thinner cover stock. So you'll see lower RG numbers, which means that core is gonna rev up a little bit sooner. I did have to move a couple right with this ball. It's hooking quite a bit more. That is interesting because I am further into the pattern. With that blue hammer, that ball got kind of lazy, didn't want to make it up the hill. This one's having no trouble making the corner and actually creating quite a bit of entry angle with a not urethane ball. Yeah, I'm a good 5 boards right with my feet. That might make it. Yeah, even with that steeper angle, that core is still able to get into a roll and change direction. So question time with Barks. Now I have a special announcement coming up, but I want to know what you guys think it is. Take a look at our social media channels in the next few weeks and you'll find out. Let's throw the new blue on top of that same line. I'm really gonna have to throw this slow to get it around the corner though. Yeah, that ball picked up around the same spot, but the ball motion is completely different. I kind of like the motion I'm getting in this part of the lane with the Rattler. Just give me a little bit more shape down lane without having to go to reactive ball. That's better. There we go. That looks pretty impressive. I really like that. This definitely feels like a type of ball that'll bridge the gap on those shorter to more medium patterns. Urethane's rolling too early, I can't move in, but sometimes the back ends are still too clean, the reactive ball is just shaped too much. This is definitely that gap filler. One more good one, we'll wrap it up. That's pretty good. Ooh, look at that. Let's wrap it up. All right, just finished bowling with the new Rattler NU. Let's talk a little bit more about it, especially compared to the other balls that I threw in this video. So comparing this against a purple hammer, this is a lot more ball and a lot more shape in the end of the pattern. Now compared to a ball that's a little bit more similar in that new blue hammer, the new blue, because of the way that that core and cover stock is designed, it gets a little bit further down the lane and creates a little bit of a smoother shape off the end of the pattern. As I got further into the pattern, you could definitely tell it ran out of gas and couldn't quite make it around the corner. The Rattler here had no trouble whatsoever though. So even though we have a very similar differential, that difference between a high RG and a low RG ball creates a big difference on the lane. Now for myself, on these shorter patterns especially, maybe short to medium, 36 to maybe 40 feet, I like to start with urethane. That keeps my angles very straight through the front part of the lane. I do struggle, however, in that transition where I need to move in. Urethane doesn't make it around the corner, and sometimes those reactive balls can be a little too touchy. Typically I would go to the new blue hammer, but even that has its limitations. But I see this as that really good transition piece when I have to move further right, open up my angles, and still get the ball to finish without going to a reactive ball that can be a little bit too much at the end of the pattern. So don't forget to answer my question. I got a big announcement on the horizon. I want to know what you think it is. Stay tuned to our social media channels in the next few weeks and find out for yourself. A special thanks to the folks at Turbo for hooking us up with all the great products that they make. Fingers, thumb tape, all sorts of accessories, great products. Make sure to stop by your local Extreme Dealer Pro Shop and find the right gripping products for you. And anyone watching who's gonna be at Bowl Expo in Denver, I will be there, probably the lone Canadian there. So if you find me, come say hi. Love to chat with all of you. Thanks for watching and stay tuned for the next video. That should make it. Ooh, that's better. Ooh, that should make it. There we go. All right. Ah, slid a little too much. Like that. That's pretty close. Wow. That's it. Oh. I dropped it. Yeah. Yeah. That might make it. Yep. That's better. There we go. That's pretty good.